What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're all doing well today. Today I'm excited to bring you my favorite carries from the week. Last week was a very interesting set of carries, some knives you haven't seen on the channel before that I am very much enjoying. First up, we're going to start off with a Micarta Monday carry, and that is going to be the Giant Mouse Ace Grand. Really enjoying this one a whole lot. I do have the River's Edge Cutlery exclusive, but this does still come in what I believe is M390 Micarta handles. This one here is 4E, which is Bowler's version of 4V. A very beautiful stonewash blade, has a clip point drop point blade to it, awesome thumb holes, very smooth burlap micarta. Really like the way that this looks, and it feels awesome in hand. A little dirt on there, I guess, or maybe I've rubbed it, I have no idea. Has a titanium backspacer. It has a wire pocket clip that is reversible. Fantastic ergos on this knife. It feels really good in hand. And again, a nice tall flat grind with an excellent edge from the factory. This knife is really good and very comfortable in hand. I do enjoy it very much. It had okay access to the lock bar. I did come in and knock it down just a touch to get a little bit more access for my larger hands, but now that it does have that, very good access, and it is shake shut action. Very smooth action indeed. So that's what was in my pocket on Monday, and I am very much enjoying this knife. All right, let's go ahead and move on. On Tuesday, I had a Titanium Tuesday carry, and I brought out the Concept Convict. This one here has a very beautiful stone-washed S35 VN sheep's foot blade. Very good for utility and draw cuts. Get through your push cuts really nicely, as well as it has an almost completely flat blade. I mean, it just curves out at the tip, but very nice for utility cuts. Very comfortable ergos. This one is a much more thinner carry in the pocket, so it doesn't take up as much space, but still feels pretty good in hand because it does have the tall handles and the contoured scales, which really translate to a very comfortable grip. The pocket clip works really well as on this one. It is not reversible because it has the titanium show side, but pocket clip works really well. A little bit of pokiness out on the tip, but barely any. You can tell that it's there, but it's not poking at all. They did a good job with the angle that it comes up to bill and catch the hem of the pants pocket. Thumb studs on here really good. Fantastic action. It is super smooth. Almost doesn't require any shaking to close, and I'm sure as it continues to break in, that's just going to get better and better. So Tuesday I had the Concept Convict, and I also really love the bronze hardware on that particular model. On Wednesday, a knife that I picked up here recently that I've been kicking the wheels on, and I'm so glad that I picked it up because I've been very impressed. That is going to be the Tucson TS 129. This is a night morning design. It has the carbon fiber show side, and it has very nicely done milling on the titanium side. Pocket clip's a little bit small, but not awful. Lock bar access is really good. This one also very smooth, a little bit more shaking than the Convict, but still very smooth. Front flipper works pretty good. I do wish on this particular model that they would have gone ahead and had the jimping go all the way around, or done a little bit of a tighter jimping, because every once in a while, and I know that it's my fault because I'm putting my finger up there, I miss and have to come back down to get to it, but I do have no issues actuating it once I have my hand in the right position. It's just not very forgiving if you come up really high on it. The thumb hole is a little bit of a different design. Kind of reminds me a little bit of a pull tab on like a can of like sausage or something, where you peel and pull it back. It looks like that kind of shape, which I thought was very interesting, but it works really well. It is a little forgiving if you do land on the lock bar, just so long as you're not putting a whole lot of pressure on it. I'm trying to, hard to demonstrate, so I don't know that I'm below the tab, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to demonstrate it on camera, but if you do have your fingers on it a little bit when you go to do the front flip, it does tighten the detent up a little bit, but you still can deploy it with a little bit more force. So be aware of that if you're interested in this model. From the front flip perspective, you just can't gorilla grip it. Also, I think the ergos on this are very nice. It has contoured scales. I'm going to close it and show it to you from this angle. It has contouring on the scales, which really does improve the ergos. The carbon fiber has a very soft feel to it, so when you go to grip it, it is tacky. It's not super grippy, and I don't know how it would feel if the carbon fiber got wet, but the milling on the titanium, even though it's very subtle, does help with the traction as well, so it is really comfortable. The M390, I did take and lay it back, 18 degrees, took a fantastic edge, very sharp. I don't know if I have this paper. So it does go through the paper. I haven't talked about it since I put that angle on it. I'm hitting the sharpening tool. Oh, it's tearing because I have to fold the paper. Let's see. So as you can see, it took a very nice edge, very sharp. It didn't take a lot of work to take the edge, so I'll be curious to see how long it holds up. But the M390 seems to be fairly decently treated. I think they advertised 58 to 61. I think it's advertised on the M390, and M390 does really well when you get into the mid 60s. Does a really good job holding the angle. And let's see, lockup's been pretty good. It came a little loose when I first got the blade, but I did tighten it up. I have found sometimes with knives in general, if they are directly on the side of the titanium or the aluminum scales, they do want to back out a little bit, so you just got to be mindful of that. Make sure you throw your medium Loctite on there and it'll be just fine. Let me back out just a little bit here. Actually, I think I'm just in there. I'm trying to make sure that I have a good enough angle to where you can see the knife really closely as it's laying on the table. On Thursday, I wanted to, as I was in the office a lot this week, actually, you'll notice some of these carries are a little bit small, but I did want to pick up the Finch 1934. I did get mine with the bone. I think it looks really good with their crest. I love the color, and this knife has been breaking in more and more as I've used and carried it. 154 cm has a very thin, tall, flat grind on it, so it actually moves through cardboard really nicely. It does allow for pretty good ergonomics. I just fall off the back of this knife, so it's definitely a more medium-sized knife, but I just really thought it looked good. This is one of my favorite designs from Finch for a modern traditional. Access to the lock bar is a little tight because I have the larger hands, and again, the action does continue to break in. It is not a fall shut knife. It is more of the shake shut type, or you can just do like a traditional and close it one-handed. And I just think this looks really cool. I really do like the way that the bone on this particular model looks. It definitely reminds me of a traditional folding knife. Goes in and out of the pocket pretty good. I have found with my jeans, as you start to get towards the top of the bone, for some reason it slows down and it won't always go into this. I don't really know if that's because it drops down a little bit or what's going on with it. Not a huge deal, but you do kind of have to push it a little bit, and sometimes the jeans will resist and not go up, and I don't know if it's because it's gripping on the nooks and crannies of the bone. But the knife itself, really awesome, and I do like that a lot, and I'm actually going to flip that the other way because I just love the way that looks. It definitely feels very traditional to me. All right, Friday, final carry of the week, guys, is going to be the Kizer Begleiter 2 in the remodeled or revised button lock edition, and this one here is from Smoky Mountain Knife Works. It does have carbon fiber and G10 intertwined into the scales, which I think came out looking really cool. I love the red and the black. I think it's a very sharp and eye-catching color. You can see there it is the Begleiter 2 designed by Anzo, and over here you can see it's done in 154 cm. It does have a fairly thin stock. I mean, it's not super thick, but it's not super thin. Very good for EDC, and really long flat spot so that when you go to push through your cardboard cuts, you're going to get through with plenty of blade edge, really flat through the core, through the majority of the blade length, and then you have a fairly decent drop clip at the very tip there. For utility cups, you have to get up a little bit, but I actually have found with these knives, using the belly to do any type of draw cut work works really nicely as well. I'm sorry, I keep bumping the tripod because I'm trying a new position there. Action's really good. Sounds are awesome. So I think the sound on this is really cool. It's probably just the thickness of the blade, the liners, the milling, the button lock, and everything itself sounds really cool on this one. The action is really good on this. I enjoy it more and more. This is a total redemption for me versus the original. I had very bad experience with 2 of the originals that I tried to pick up. Was not happy with it. To me, this is completely different. I love that the button's slightly recessed. I love that the scales are contoured. Feels very chunky in hand, so even though it is a more slender profile, the chunkiness does a good job filling out the hand and making it feel really good. The jimping goes way out on the blade. I'm just really enjoying this one a lot, and this is totally a redemption for me from Kizer on the button locks because I did not really enjoy the original. So I'm very happy with that carry. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you did, do me a favor, leave a like. Consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed, and if you are, thank you for all of your support. Make sure everyone, you have your notification bells set to all so you don't miss any alerts when future videos drop. Don't forget to give me a follow over on Instagram. I hope all of you have a fantastic week. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, peace.